We spent about an hour on that game.
We really
that means
did.
we got about 5 on this game, which, we don't need that much time.
We don't actually.
Chiefs were the better team. They beat the Bills. They're going to the Super Bowl.
See you at Super Bowl Sunday,
right,
guys. Good pod.
Paul's going to be on Wednesday. All right.
No. I don't think you're that far off.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real here. The Chiefs are in another class of them. It just shows you that Buffalo's not quite there yet, and it just shows you too. Kansas City's of evolution. Like, oh, Buffalo played us this way the first time, so we'll run the ball. But they realize, we're not a running team. We're not going to, build on that. We need to get better at the short passes and things like that. And you saw last night. I mean, Mahomes really never threw the ball deep the whole game, other than one throw, right?
He has not thrown the ball deep all playoffs.
Because everybody's scared of the deep pass. So they've grown this short, pick-you-apart offense now that makes them, like Brady in New England, Drew Brees is surgical, where they can just go, fine, you're going to take away all these deep throws, we'll throw it for 6, throw it for 8, and we'll just pick you apart that way.
Throw it for 5 and have Tyreek Hill run
66,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, whatever he did, yeah.
That was insane.
What's the number right here? So Mahomes has yet to complete a deep pass in the postseason. He's yet to complete a deep pass.
Wow.
In the season, only 0 for 2. I guess he's only thrown a couple.
I was going to say, I don't really remember one in Cleveland. Last night, we had one on the first drive, right? Remember? And Tyreek dropped the little post corner.
Right, yeah.
That was the only deep ball I remember throughout the game. But who cares? Doesn't matter. They're still making you defend the whole field by the way they're calling plays and the formations. And then, yet they always have some underneath concept to go, oh, wait, you're playing way off? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, we got Travis Kelce under here. Now that everybody's deep and you have one linebacker underneath, we're just going to let Kelce abuse this linebacker, and you can't stop that. They have so many ways to do it. That's what's impressive. They're just such a tough, physical, rise to the challenge football team. That's what I love about Kansas City.
Well, it's so weird. It's like you hear for years, like you're not going to just turn it on. You can't just turn it on
right?
once you get to the playoffs. If you're not playing well, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs they just turn it on.
They are. They're like a youth sports coach's nightmare because they are that way. You're right. I mean, throughout the whole year.
You made me a liar. You did turn it on.
You did turn it on. You did wait to the championship game to play a complete football game.
Do you think Andy Reid is one of the best at taking his great players and putting them in positions where other teams don't have a chance? I'm thinking like the speed of Tyreek Hill, the speed of Mecole Hardman as well, and just the mismatch that Travis Kelce is.
Yes.
It's like basically you have these advantages, and Andy Reid is so good at making sure that he can use them as advantages. Like you're not going to take Tyreek Hill, it seems like, out of a game in the playoffs. You're not going to take Travis Kelce out of a game in the playoffs.
They make it too hard on you. One, he always attacks. It's never like, oh, they're doing this, so let me tuck my tail behind me and change my game plan. He never really changes for anybody. He gives them schematical advantages first off, with all the movements and motions and different formations, and he coaches and has created a culture a lot like we talked about with the Bucs, with their head coach. Oh, this is a big game? We're going to go out and let it loose. Yeah. That's what we do. They don't go, oh, it's a big game. We got to be really detailed and make sure we get right in the right spots. And coach told me to go through this check. They're not like that. That lends them to play free and fast in these type of football games. And then, yes, he's a great game planner to find a few wrinkles to get those guys going. And he never lets you off the hook with them, I think is what we're saying. Like, he's never like, oh, well, they're probably going to take Tyreek Hill away, so let me figure out other ways to get that. He just goes, no. If they try to take him away, we'll do this. Yeah. And if they try to take him away, we'll run him on this route. And they try to change it that way. So they keep the pressure on you that way. And really, at the end of the day, you just saw Kansas City on both sides of the ball, for lack of a better way to say it, just has a few more men, ballers, alphas, whatever you want to say, that are made for that type of football game right there.
Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, ties a playoff record for a tight end with Shannon Sharp and Kellen Winslow. Tyreek Hill, 172 yards receiving. That is a Chiefs playoff record. Logan Haynes, 5, wants to take a closer look at that Tyreek. 70-yard slant play. Maybe can break down some of the things you just said, what Andy Reid can do to get Tyreek Hill open. And this was in response. I mean, this was a killer for the Bills because they were getting crushed on social media for, I don't think they knew it at the time, but for kicking those 2 field goals at the end of the half and then beginning of the second half. And then what did the Chiefs do to answer? 4 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, the big play coming right here, Chris.
Yep, right. And so here we go. We got like trips, like a little trips left formation to that side, right? So it's Kelsey. They got Hill in the slot. It's really hard to get in this formation and double both of these guys, too. That's what you got to remember. They're both next to each other. So, like, defenses are going to be like, hey, let's put 4 guys over here just for these 2 guys, and we'll figure out how to defend the rest of the team with our 7 guys on their 9 guys. No, that's not going to work. You're going to be in a mismatch. So these are the little things he does. Brings back the back into the backfield. Now he knows what kind of coverage it is within that, right? And it's a man-to-man coverage. And let me just go back one more time and rewind that one more time if you can, Pete. But so let it go. Darrell Williams back in the backfield, right? Goes across to the other side. And I believe this is an RPO, right? It's either an RPO or some sort of play action pass or something like that. But that's the bind they put you into. And that speaks to your point about what Reid does for them. So let's run the ball, but put Tyreek here. And the guy we're putting in the bind has to stop the run or stop Tyreek. Which one does he want to do? Oh, he wanted to go to the run that time? You keep your eyes on him, Mahomes, as we go across. And then when you see him go too aggressive to the run, there'll be a hole there to throw to Tyreek. Oh, and if he just sits there, then hand the ball off. And now they have one extra guy. So that's where, like, to your answer your question, that's where Andy Reid's great.
Yeah.
He goes, wait, this can put them in a bind. And now how can I make it even worse with the personnel I have? Oh, let me put this guy here. And now they're really in a bad spot. And that's where Tyreek's special.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the number 1 weapon in football. And I think would still probably be my first pick as a receiver. It's, I know I said DK, I think, during the middle of the year or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm cheating on him. I've gone
unchained. It would be unchanged. Tyreek at the top. Devontae may be he may be able to get in the top 10. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, it's almost like watching this game. I was like, this reminds me of a basketball team in so many ways. Some of the plays they design. But it's like if they're down 9-0 in the first quarter, it's like a basketball team being down 9-0 in the first quarter. Like it's irrelevant. Whatever happens in the first quarter is irrelevant.
No,
it doesn't matter.
But seriously though, like, when they were down now 9-0? There was like zero panic.
I thought it was a requirement. I thought it was like this is our game plan. It's like you script your first, series.
And then
we get down 9-0, good.
Right.
It's going to plan.
Right.
Now we come back.
And just unleash the kitchen sink on you. But it's a team, first off, that double-digit, deficits mean nothing to them.
Nothing.
You don't care. And, after you saw that first drive to where they scored a touchdown and went down and made it 9-7, I don't know about you, but I was kind of just like, this doesn't look good for Buffalo. That was way too easy.
Yeah.
And really, from that point on, at 9-7, I really kind of sat there and just went, well,
it's like they gifted him the touchdown with the fumbled
exactly
punt,
right.
and then you go right back to Hardman, and he gets the touchdown, then the 50-yard run, and they're off.
They're off and running. That's exactly right. They're just special. They have such a knack for big plays, and they really thrive in these type of moments.
So we knew what the Chiefs' offense can do in the postseason. They proved it once again. Maybe more credit goes to the Chiefs' defense here, and so this one comes from Orion Chiselwit, who chimes in quite often with us here on Unbuttoned on PFT as well. We thank him for that.
Yep, we do.
For Self-Scout Thyself, you've been waxing poetic about Josh Allen's improved ability to pick up blitzes over the past few weeks. What did Spagnuolo dial up yesterday that led to Josh struggling in these situations? So Allen versus the blitz was 10 for 19, 88 yards, did have a touchdown, but also was sacked one time.
Yeah, listen, it looked like Spags fooled them a few times. I didn't come away also to like what we talked about with Andy Reid with the movement and the schematic. Like, I thought Buffalo was a little stagnant last night. I honestly thought we might see more bells and whistles out of their offense in the football game altogether. I think 2 things jumped out to me about it. And I haven't really gotten to really study this film yet. So for our man Chenoweth, is it? Orion Cheselwit, right? Like, I'll hit more of it.
It might not be his real name.
I doubt it is. But I'll get to it on Wednesday's podcast and give you a little bit better feel. But 2 things. And I think, I heard Nate Burleson hit on it at halftime a little bit. The Chiefs' secondary was phenomenal in the football game. I mean, we saw plays where he extended the plays for 7 and 8 seconds, and nobody ever got open. Romo showed it repeatedly through the second half. The secondary is very talented, and I think what we saw too, at least in my opinion, towards the end of the year, is Buffalo's skill guys are good. They're not special. They have one special guy in Diggs. The rest of the guys are just good guys. John Brown was non-existent last night. Cole Beasley is good in his little role. But I think what you saw with Buffalo last night, they need another guy. They needed somebody else. I mean, Mahomes has Hill and Kelsey. Diggs Josh Allen just has Diggs. The other guys are good, but they're just other guys. That's who they are. So I think there's a need there. But here's the biggest thing to me, Ahmed. I was just amazed that Kansas City kind of dominated them up front, pass protection-wise. And then when he tried to get out of the pocket, Frank Clark and Chris Jones and all of them, they were breathing down his neck. They were right there to be had. They did a good job of containing him and staying on his ass to where he didn't get to get out of the pocket and then set up, right? That's where you see Josh Allen become scary. He runs out of the pocket, and now he sets up, and now he gets to manipulate it with his eyes, but more importantly, he gets to get his legs underneath him to where he can throw a rifle through any window there is. And they never really let him do that last night.
He had to take off and run.
He had to take off, run, or he had to run full speed and try to throw the ball like that on the run, and that's very difficult to do.
Juan Thornhill, someone you wanted to single out, 5 targets in coverage, just allowed 1 catch, 6 yards, 4 passes defended. Yeah, when they blitzed Allen, he only had 4.6 yards per attempt, and so he was
so rare. He's the best quarterback in football against the blitz,
exactly,
all year long. And it's really a tribute to Spagnuolo. They're a team and a unit on that defensive side of the ball that just got better and better throughout the year too, and They did last year too. Remember that? They did. I know. They do every year. That's what they. That's where I give them a lot of credit. And the one thing they do is they throw their bodies around with just no care at all. They could care less. Coach, you said run through the steel wall. We're going to try to do it. No problem. But the thing that jumps out to me about them, it's like where practice makes perfect too, is they're a feast or famine team. That's what I call them. That's what my old coaches would have called them. It's going to be all out blitz where they have to play man to man. Right? So they've got to do that so much that they've become very good at man-to-man. They really know how to play their techniques, what to expect in certain down and distances and formations. And then Spagnuolo also gives them the great credit of disguising and doing crazy crap too, to make them feel and look better too. So not every play has to be, I got to stop you and can't let you. Every now and then they get a break where they go, I just got to drop into this zone, and we got a bunch of crazy going, and now I can kind of just be a football player and read the quarterback's eyes and watch it. So it's a great defense to be a part of, and they've really mastered it that way.
So what do you think the Bills moving forward? This is a giant step for them.
Huge.
Defense was not as good as they wanted, but offense took a step forward. Stephon Diggs was huge for them.
Yep.
What do they need to do? Because I heard you talking about it with Mike on the show, and he was not poo-pooing, but the idea that, they're definitely going to be back. And you can never say anything definite about the NFL.
Right.
But I will say they're in a better spot to be back than any other team, I think, outside of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I would agree.
You got the quarterback, and you've got an offense that's got a good philosophy, Brian Daboll.
Yep, got some good young offensive linemen that are good.
So what do they need to do? Do they need to develop more of a running attack, of a threat of a running attack? What do they need to do defensively? Because I think what they are right now is good, but no shame that you're not quite up to the Chiefs' level yet.
No, they're not up to that level yet, definitely. We saw these deficiencies throughout the year to where they did a great job hiding them and doing things like that. I really think it just comes down to the Jimmies and the Joes. They need a few extra Jimmies and Joes. They need a few extra studs like we started off the segment talking about the Chiefs. There's really no guy in the front seven where you go, oh, he's a handful. But you look at Kansas City and you go, well, they got 2 of them, Frank Clark and Chris Jones. And then other good players around them. There's no guy. They have Tre'Davious White, but as I always tell people, they're a big zone team in Buffalo, right? So they need another corner, in my opinion. They need another big-time defensive lineman, in my opinion. I would expect them to get back to the running game. I don't know where that went wrong this year. I do think they're too talented up front to not have a little bit of a run game, and you have a quarterback who has either the biggest arm or second biggest arm in the sport, and play action pass would work well with him. It would be dangerous. But I think, between that, they do have a Zach Moss and see how that goes. But I think they do need another legit weapon on the outside. We just saw in too many big games this year, yeah, Allen and Diggs got it done. But as you saw, that's just not enough in these games. They need one other guy. You got to have it. Oh, Evans isn't open? I got Godwin. Okay, we'll work Godwin today. Oh, and then, there's a Gronk, whatever. You need everybody needs a Robin to their Batman. And that to me would be the things I would look for. Difference-making defensive lineman, another cover corner, and I think of another stud wide receiver.
So knowing your deficiencies in this game, and this is how I'll wrap it up, were you surprised at the fact that they kicked some field goals? Rav Buffalo says, were the Bills too conservative with settling for field goals at the end of the half rather than going for broke in this game? So, you know the deficiencies. He knows the deficiencies. Maybe Sean McDermott doesn't want to admit that there are some deficiencies on defense because he's a defensive-minded guy. But were you surprised by that? Do you think those were the right call?
Well, okay. So I think the one at the end of the half I don't have a huge issue with. I understand. You're right. You have to push the envelope at some point. It's Kansas City.
They did early in the game. They went for fourth down right at midfield.
I know.
So it was like at that point you're like, wow, they know what they got to do.
And they haven't been scared all year long. I just think they got into it's 4th and 2, right? It's right before the half. Their defense has played pretty good. It was hard work to get down here. And I think they just thought, let's go in with something positive at the half instead of being down 21-9 and being like, man, we're in deep. So I don't have as much of an issue with that. It is the first half. So we're not I don't believe in chasing points, at 21-9 or things. You just got to play football and keep the pressure on them from that. That one is not as bad to me. The one, I guess, later on is the one then where I would go, that one I don't agree with, right? What do we got? 4th and 3 on the Kansas City 8. It's 24-15 at this point, right? No, it's 24-12. It's 24-12. And now we know your defense can't stop them. It's official. It's the third quarter. They just marched right down the field on you and got a field goal. And you're lucky they didn't score a touchdown. So now we got to go for it and push the envelope. That was the one I had the issue with. The one before the half to make it 21-12 I can deal with. 24-12 now. All right, it's third quarter, and it's Mahomes, and it doesn't look good. And you're smart, and you've been a coach for a lot of games.
Yeah.
Let's ratchet up the intensity that way.
And then you kick the field goal, and like I mentioned, 4 plays, 75 yards.
It's over.
Chiefs
and now the game's over.
Touchdown.
Exactly right.
Which needed that
game was over.
But realistically, it didn't probably have an impact on the game because you think, what's going to happen? You go for both those 4th downs. Maybe you get one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe you score the touchdown on one of them. So you end up with 7 points instead of the 6 points that you got from the 2 field goals.
Right.
So you would have liked to have seen them. In retrospect, if you know you're going to give up 38,
sure,
you got to go for those. But
it's a great year.
Defensible, great year.
Great year. And all we can say is this. You and I were watching the game, and it was clear who the better team was.
Correct.
That wasn't even a debate. And I know, listen, and let's just say this too. To me, did you feel clear in the first game too? I felt clear that the Bucs were the better team. Was I disappointed that Green Bay? I wrote, and I said in my breakdown last week, Pete can attest to this. After a Week 6 matchup, I wrote, this is a bad matchup for the Packers. The Bucs will win this 9 out of 10 times. Yesterday was one of the times.
Yeah.
That's where I got frustrated by it. I think the Bucs were the better team, but they made some mistakes. Brady throwing the interceptions and things that he left the door open, and Green Bay didn't capitalize, and of course had some bad breaks.
I don't know because
what do you feel there?
I look at the Packers game and I think, okay, you had Devontae Adams drop a touchdown.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. That's normally not going to happen. You have the weird defensive setup at the end of the first half that gives up a touchdown that you should not give up. And then you have a big hit, credit to the Bucs, to start the second half that results in a fumble and an 8-yard touchdown drive 1 play later. I was like, those are 3
monumental.
And you can't take away from what the Bucs did on those plays. But, Devontae Adams dropped it. Brain fart by the defensive scheme of the Packers.
Right.
I'm like, those are 3 huge plays, and you take those plays out.
Yeah.
Of course, you can always do that for any game, but I was like, but those are weird mistakes.
They are weird mistakes.
Those
it's
are
not
weird
mistakes.
mistakes.
It's not like you beat us into submission. We
Yes.
did stuff that we do all the time, and we just messed it up.
And despite that, it was only a 1-score game. And
so
Packers
you're saying
dominated.
it was?
I thought the Packers
really
were
maybe the better team or
I thought
close
so.
to it.
I thought so. And for most of that game, I thought
Yeah.
played better.
Yeah.
I don't know, but They were both good.
It's a tough one. They're both good. You're right. I sometimes, I think, tend to favor the team that I feel like was the more physical one.
Yeah.
And maybe don't think about things like that way. But you're right. It's very close. Definitely closer than the Chiefs-Bills game. We know who was better there. And the other one was obviously debatable.
So we have to do it. I'm sorry. We have to bury
it's okay.
Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
My boy Blue.
Here lie the Buffalo Bills, a team whose offense and defense both took the next step. The offense just happened to be in a different direction than the defense. That step was forward and backwards. Sean McDermott, we bid you adieu. Kicking on 4th down might need a review. But Josh Allen is here in Chris's top tier. I'm so happy for your big boy Blue.
Thank you.
There he is, Josh Allen.
My boy Blue.
Yeah, he did. He is now in, like, you always had him in a special category, but now he is in a lot of people's special category.
I think he is. I think
Josh Allen has proved the naysayers wrong.
I believe so. I think the world saw enough of him. And then even like last night, even though the game wasn't perfect, you could see
he was the best thing they had.
Exactly. He was the only thing they had. He had 88 yards rushing. He had 290 yards throwing the football. Yes, he's a superstar. That's why I said, like, they need one more guy. Just one more. It doesn't have to be a superstar. It could just be a really good number 2 or a 1A or whatever. But I think that'll bring him into another stratosphere too, and their team into another stratosphere to where they could be scary. I bet you they don't draft a quarterback in the end of the first round this year.
I mean, probably
they try to go all in on Josh Allen.
But those naysayers will always come back if you start struggling, because they always want to be right. I always want to be like, see, I was right. I was right after all.
Right.
He's making some dumb mistakes. He's got no accuracy. The Bills are done, but they're good. They'll be back in similar positions in the future. And now we have the first ever Super Bowl between the last 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
That's amazing.
First time it's ever happened.
It really is.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.